Well, well, well. The fabled Ring of Power show. I've been burned in the past by Amazon. The Wheel of Prime still burns in my memory to this day. With that in mind, is this show better? Yes, it is. Don't even joke about that. The Wheel of Prime was... Okay, we're not talking about that. But is the Ring of Power good? Well, thus far, it's nothing to write home about. It's certainly a beautiful show, that much is certain. A couple of shots look a little CG, but it is certainly better than anything Star Trek and She-Hulk have put out. In the end, the show, while setting up the premise, is just bland. I don't know, the first 2 episodes cover 4 separate timelines and jumps between them sometimes too frequently. I was checking my watch fairly often, I'll be honest. Right now, while they are certainly not as bad as the shows I have already reviewed on this channel, I would just say to invest the 2 hours of this show in the House of the Dragon until we see how this show progresses. Now, I am not going to judge the show based on the supposed source material, not just because I'm not familiar with it enough, but also because shows can deviate and still be good. Jurassic Park would be a prime example of that. Nothing against Michael Crichton. With that being said, spoilers. We are treated to a TV-14 rating. So much for this. Now I know I'm not going to get any titties. Galadriel then tells me that the world was once young. We find a young Galadriel making an origami boat. It floats down the river and turns into a dragon. The other kids around her then decide to destroy it. Boys can be so cruel. Her older brother Finrod then consoles her. He tells her that, you know why a stone sinks and a boat floats? Because a stone is heavy with pessimism while a boat is unburdened. Okay, that's not the actual quote. I just adapted it. He actually said that a stone only sees darkness in the water and is drawn down. The boat, meanwhile, knows the darkness, but still looks up instead. Finrod then tells Galadriel a secret that we can't hear. Foreshadowing, I guess. So they live in paradise. There's no death, only joy. The realm is illuminated by the trees of Valinor. They look fine from afar, but turn into an odd mess of after effects close up. Morgoth, the devil guy in this universe, destroys this tree and the elves go to war and travel to Middle-earth. We are treated to a massive battle for about 1 minute. We see an elf fight a little bit and then just stop to scream. He's pushed back by an orc. We are told the 60 seconds is actually part of a centuries-long war, but we cut to Galadriel grown up looking at CGI ashes and a helmet. She narrates to us some more to say that the war was terrible, as is usually the case, and her brother vowed to destroy Sauron. Dude absolutely failed. Caught a mild case of death, and Sauron marked the guy's corpse with a symbol, and Galadriel then decided to go for Sauron himself. She traveled the world looking, but couldn't find him. We are now in the iced wasteland of Forwardwrath. Galadriel is climbing a cliff with her dagger. She is now commander. Finally, after all this effort, and once they are safely fully ascended, the rest of the troop confront her about this now hopeless endeavor. Good thing they waited until they were on top of an ice cliff, because it would have been awkward telling Galadriel that you guys wanted to go home at the bottom. Suddenly, when a snowstorm is brewing and almost kills the entire company, they realize they are in fact at the location the orcs gathered after Morgoth's death. We see a claw behind a rock moving as they walk about. Foreshadowing. They go into a hidden chamber where orcs encase themselves in the rocks due to playing with dark magic. Galadriel then finds a mark similar to the one on her brother's body. Then, another elf finds a snow troll that rips through the whole team while Galadriel just watches for a little bit. She then kills the troll in 20 seconds. I mean, she destroys this troll. This is some Elden Ring stuff right here. It looks like no elves were killed despite one being picked up and smashed against the rock like an elf in the hands of an ice troll. Annoyed at Galadriel taking her time on helping, they say, "Screw you, guy. We're going home." We come across some horned hussars with freaking giant moose antlers on their backs. They worry about the Harefoots, which are little hobbit guys, who are actually hiding all around them. They come out when the men are just barely gone. We cut to our main protagonist, Nori, and her friend Poppy. Nori is the adventurous chosen one or something, I guess, while Poppy is the worrisome voice of reason. They take all the little kids and start raiding some blackberry bushes. A kid finds a large paw print in the mud, which turns out to be a wolf. The wolf looks on as the kids escape. Shift over to Elrond writing poetry under a tree in Lindon, the capital of the elves. He has told Galadriel arrived. I guess she got tired of the snow as well. She has returned to ask for a new company to look for Sauron, but Elrond tells her that she disobeyed the king while she was searching last time, and he might not take too kindly to her doing again this time. She still insists on seeing the king anyway. Back to the hobbits running around in camp. Nori is chilling with her parents, preparing escargot. Her mother is annoyed that she took the children far from home. Then Nori gives a speech about her wanderlust. Her mother says to cut that out. We are safe here. Nori is shooed away and leaves a blackberry for her mother. So then we have a ceremony with the elves. The king is proud that the companies have finally rid the world of the evil of Morgoth. He is about to crown Galadriel for her achievement, but then they have a staring contest. Then she submits. She is given the chance to return to Valinor. She wants to turn it down when talking to Elrond. You see, he hasn't seen the horrors that she has seen, so he wouldn't understand her insistence to not be a yellow-belly coward and go find that last possible evil. Alright, so now we are checking out the humans in the southern lands. This elf we are following now, Arondir, hears of poisoned grass somewhere. Some young guy gets mad at him and tells him to basically saw it off. One day the true human king will return to liberate the humans from the elves or something. The barkeep almost punches this rapscallion, but Arondir catches the punch. He is a calm and patient elf. However, he walks out and then encounters a lovely young lass by the name of Bronwyn. She gives him some seeds and they bond over horticulture. Turns out that elves have a rapid healing factor. The barkeep cockblocks the two, so Arondir walks off. Another elf then gets mad at Arondir. He is annoyed that this guy keeps trying to talk with human babes. Arondir responds by straight up telling the guy he smells like crap. Seriously, Arondir, he's telling you that elves and humans doing the mommy and daddy dance doesn't work. Maybe listen to the guy. Maybe he has experience in that field. They are then interrupted by hearing an order from the High King that their outpost is disbanded. Arondir has the big sad, but the warden tells him that he should be happy to have to never see this place and its people again. This guy's a racist. Arondir then goes to meet with Bronwyn, freaking auto-spelling, to see if he can get some, I don't know, adult goodbye. And then I realize that her son is of a darker complexion, like Arondir. Did they already do the nasty? Well, whatever. She is called to look at a cow. It secretes a chocolate milk out of its teats. The most chocolate known to man. Excited, or disgusted, I don't know. Arondir finds that the cow might have been grazing out east, and he sets sail that way. The kid and the annoyed guy from the bar go to a barn to look through the floorboards. The little half-elf finds some treasure, and then a broken sword hilt with the mark of Sauron on it. It begins calling to him like the ring. Galadriel sails away to Valinor. Elrond laments, and the king congratulates him. As a reward, Elrond will work on a new project under Lord Celebrimbor. Back to the Hobbit folk. Sardok is looking at the stars because there are omens in his little book. He wonders, why is a bunch of weird stuff going on? He thinks something is wrong. Nori suddenly appears and says, "How's it hanging?" And Sadok replies, "It's not hanging," and gets annoyed at her eavesdropping. Then he tells her ominously that the skies are strange. Foreshadowing. Now, Bronwyn and Arondir are walking towards the town of Horndurn. Arondir makes a racist comment about the citizens siding with the devil, and Bronwyn gets mad. He ends their lover's quarrel with an almost kiss, and then they see that the entire town has been set on fire. Finally, back to Galadriel on the boat. They begin to take their armor off. Will we see some titties? Nah, it doesn't even look like there are any to see. Galadriel resists giving up her dagger, but finally decides to do so. They get greeted by seagulls and a song. Everyone begins singing except for her. Then she remembers her brother's quote from earlier. Cut to. Suddenly, a meteor falls to Earth in front of the rest of the characters back in Middle-earth. Now, back to Galadriel. She hears the rest of her brother's quote about the boats and the rocks. That, we cannot know the difference of real light and the false light reflected off of darkness until we have touched darkness itself, or something along those lines. I guess she now knows that Valinor is darkness and evil, because she makes like a rock and jumps in the water. She is now in the middle of the Middle-earth ocean and will swim back to the shore. Back to the High King of the Elves. He sees a fallen leaf, and on the back is a bunch of rot, and Sauron talking. This is foreshadowing. Then, Nori has come across a hobo who has fallen from the sky. This is not foreshadowing, just a crude dude laying in the nude. Well, that was a TV show. It's not as bad as I expected. It was just setting up the characters of the show. Okay, now, I see how the characters are. That is better than some shows, but the rest of the show is rather cliched. Oh, a nice troll. I know the main character is going to destroy it effortlessly. A whispered quote from her brother. That will come back later. The dialogue was serviceable, but nothing special. I rate this as 3 sky junkies out of a 5 fire pits. And I still have a whole nother episode to watch. Like I said, if you want better content, House of the Dragon at the moment is more interesting. And of course, the Peter Jackson films are always a must. Tune in next episode where I cover the next episode.